He was the most decorated footballer of all time. The smile, the dance, the joy of the game itself. But one night changed everything, from lifting trophies at Barcelona to a prison cell in Spain.
A Spanish court has overturned the conviction of the former Brazil footballer Dani Alves for sexual assault.
In other news today, a court in Spain has found the former Barcelona and Brazil footballer Dani Alves guilty of raping a woman in a Barcelona nightclub.
The breaking news involves the former Barcelona right-back Dani Alves, who we're just learning now has been sentenced to 4.5 years in jail after being found guilty of sexual assault.
He was convicted of raping a woman in a nightclub in Barcelona in 2022.
Dani Alves' story isn't just glory, it's betrayal, scandal, and a fall few saw coming. Everyone knew him as a champion. Few knew him as a man facing his darkest hour. This is what really happened to Dani Alves. Juazeiro, Bahia. Small town, hot sun, dirt roads, barefoot kids chasing a tattered ball. Dani Alves was born into struggle. His father, a farmer, built him a football field out of dirt. No money, no fame, just a dream and relentless hard work. By 18, he made it to Bahia. By 20, Sevilla spotted him. A right back who didn't just defend, he attacked, danced, and controlled the game like a forward. Fun fact, even as a teenager, he was known for outrageous dribbles and cheeky tricks, sometimes taking defenders out of the game entirely with a single flick. Europe didn't just see a defender. They saw chaos, creativity, and pure joy in motion. – 2008. Barcelona called. Dani Alves arrived. And suddenly, the right flank became untouchable. Messi called him, the teammate who understands me better than anyone. And he wasn't kidding. Alves' combination play, endless stamina, and insane crosses made Barcelona unstoppable.
Star performance by Barcelona. Dani Alves with a super goal. Dani Alves! Absolutely sensational!
3 Champions League titles, 6 La Liga titles, every trophy, every celebration. He wasn't just a player. He was the heartbeat of Guardiola's machine, dancing past defenders, laughing at pressure, making the impossible look easy. But here's the truth. Success like that comes with scrutiny. And Dani Alves' appetite for life and risk would soon collide with the world's unforgiving gaze. After leaving Barcelona, many assumed his best days were behind him. Juventus, PSG, São Paulo, a short return to Barcelona. Wherever he went, he collected trophies and headlines. At 34, he carried Juventus to the Champions League final in 2017.
Sui piedi però di Dani Alves, la pressione della Juve. Prova la conclusione, la deviazione, vantaggio Juve.
He didn't win, but he proved something crucial. Dani Alves never stops. 43 trophies, more than any other footballer in history. And yet, even with all that glory, the cracks were forming. January 2023, Barcelona, a nightclub. The man who celebrated life like it owed him everything suddenly faced the worst kind of scrutiny. Dani Alves was accused of sexual assault.
He came up to me and said, "Don't you know who I am?" And I said, "No." He told me, "My name is Dani. I play pétanque in Hospitalet." I remember that he took my hand and put it on his p. He told me again to leave with him, but I said no.
At first, he denied it. Then he changed his story multiple times. First denying entirely, then claiming consensual intercourse. The media, fans, and sponsors turned on him almost overnight. By February 2023, Dani Alves was arrested and sent to prison without bail. The headlines were relentless.
A Spanish court has overturned the conviction of the former Brazil footballer Dani Alves for sexual assault.
In other news today, a court in Spain has found the former Barcelona and Brazil footballer Dani Alves guilty of raping a woman in a Barcelona nightclub.
He was convicted of raping a woman in a nightclub in Barcelona in 2022.
Barcelona legend behind bars. Most decorated player faces darkest hour. Even for someone used to pressure, this was uncharted territory. For over a year, the football world watched in disbelief. The man who danced after every victory now faced grim courtroom sketches instead of stadium lights. In early 2024, he was convicted and sentenced to 4.5 years in prison.
The breaking news involves the former Barcelona right-back Dani Alves, who we're just learning now has been sentenced to 4.5 years in jail after being found guilty of sexual assault.
Next, the Brazilian footballer, former Barcelona star Dani Alves, has been sentenced to 4.5 years in jail for rape.
One of the most decorated footballers in history, found guilty of rape. Dani Alves has been sentenced to 4.5 years in prison after a court in Spain found him guilty of raping a woman in a Barcelona nightclub on the 31st of December 2022.
Sponsors dropped him. His wife, Joanna Sands, filed for divorce. Friends distanced themselves. Even Neymar, once close to him, stayed silent. And yet, Dani Alves tried to hold on. He trained in prison, read, reflected, still smiling when cameras caught him, still fighting for dignity in a situation he could never control. March 2024. He was released on bail after paying 1 million euros. The world watched him walk free, but the damage to his image was immense. March 2025. A Catalan appeals court overturned the conviction, citing inconsistencies in the accuser's testimony and insufficient evidence. Technically, he was free. Legally, the case was behind him. Emotionally, the story lingered. Clubs hesitated. Sponsors were wary, fans were divided, and the trophy-laden life he built suddenly felt fragile. Dani Alves' story is a reminder of contrasts. He was joy incarnate on the pitch, the man who danced, laughed, and lifted trophies like no one else. Off the pitch, he faced the harsh lessons of fame, risk, and choices made in the spotlight. Loved by millions, hated by millions more. Arrogance, carelessness, or just the unpredictability of a life lived fast and hard? One thing is clear. Dani Alves will be remembered not only for his trophies, his stamina, or his technical brilliance, but as a cautionary tale. A man who could touch the skies and still find himself falling and rising again, but never unscathed. Dani Alves lived faster, harder, and wilder than most of us will ever dream. From the streets of Bahia to Barcelona, from stadium glory to courtroom drama. It's a story few expected and few will forget. If you loved this deep dive, check out our other videos. What really happened to Ronaldinho? What really happened to Neymar? Hit like, subscribe, and the bell icon. And tell us, what do you think about Dani Alves? Was he a genius undone by one night? or just human in a world that expects perfection?